Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trading with Ashley show. We are back outside. It's just too beautiful of a day. It's too green outside to be in a car. And wow, was it green in our portfolios today. Congratulations to all of those of you that did not lose faith in trading. This is what is so important when you're a trader. You have to be nimble. You have to be able to handle different market conditions. And let's face it, if you're a part of a community, it's so much easier because you have people to lean on. And we are all in this together. For those of you that are in my community, I am so honored to be with you every day. We have been through the fire together. Most of you were with me when things were riding high and we could blink and make money on our trades. And then when things turned south, we were able to come together and strategize and come up with ways to protect ourselves in this market. But most importantly, we came up with some wonderful bearish strategies to trade. Now, nobody can take that knowledge away from you. You have the ability now to trade all market conditions. And really, that's the whole reason you join a community is you want to learn, you want to be a part of a group. You know, as traders, it's kind of lonely. I mean, we watch videos to get our fix on trading information, but if we have a big win, it's really hard if you don't have a household full of traders to share that joy and excitement. So that's the beauty of all coming together. Now, let's watch a brief clip that kind of recaps everything that happened today. And then I am going to help all of those of you that may have been in a bearish position and you had to take a loss today because of that hedge. I have a way that you could potentially get some of that money back. Okay, let's go watch.
Let's bring in FundStrat Head of Research and CNBC contributor, Tom Lee. Tom, were you getting nervous here with what the market was doing? I know you expected things to go a lot better for the major indices this year.
Yeah, John, I was getting very nervous. I think the biggest sign was I was going to bed every night, checking futures, reading everything, and wondering if the market would open limit down. So I was getting very nervous. But of course, now this is a really big positive fundamental development.
So why aren't you still nervous, given the velocity at which things continue to change? How do you find signal in the noise? How encouraging is it that after saying that they weren't going to negotiate, the administration is now negotiating? After saying they weren't watching Wall Street's reaction, they really do seem to have been watching the market?
Yeah, I'm going to have to make some guesses here, but I think one of the positives is that I think the White House exercised the Navarro put, meaning they are now inserting Bessent more into the negotiating process, which I think is less of a hardline view. When I look at what this means for the next few months, I do think because of the tariffs and they've been dialed down, companies now have what's effectively probation. So if they cut guidance or they don't show guidance, markets can look through it because they know it's an adjustment process. So I think it's taking the pressure valve of investors panicking on earnings. I also think it's been really good news to see Tesla rally because, it's been our view that Tesla is more or less the exhibit A for what kind of bounce can ensue, because remember, Tesla got hit the hardest first, and actually it's been holding some important levels. And then I think there are things really, as we look towards the next few quarters or a few months, to be positive about, because there is a tax deal. And, at the end of the day, there was a lot of technical damage, but a lot got repaired. So, I do think this was an important day.
Now, is the worst over? Well, I don't know. I mean, this is a crazy time that we're living through. Like I said, we're living through history. But if it's not over, we're prepared and we have ways that we can trade through different dynamics. Now, for those of you that had wished that you had a hedge on when everything turned south, now might be the time for you to consider purchasing a put that's a little bit longer dated so time decay does not eat it up. And then if we do have anything that changes the dynamics of what we're dealing with right now, at least you have something that you can cash in and start to build your cash position again. I don't put tons of money in hedges when I am buying puts, and the reason that is because the market does have a tendency to want to go up, as you can definitely see. After 3 months of pain, today seemed to make up for almost all of it. And so speaking of community, and I talked about how we like to strategize together, it was actually one of my community members that gave me this bright idea today, and I went ahead and traded it, and it allowed me to make up a little money from a loss that I had taken on a hedge that I had put on. So I wanted to share it with all of you, and it has to do with the strategy called the buy right. Now, the wonderful thing about a buy right with a stock like NVIDIA, if in fact it does retreat in the coming days, no problem. I have a quality stock that then I can turn around and start selling calls against it yet again. So you want to select a stock similar to NVIDIA that has good fundamentals, that's oversold, and the VIX is high, and that will provide you the best opportunity to make the most out of this trade. Now, this particular trade, I was able to sell a call that expires in just a few days, so it will more than likely get called away. But again, if it doesn't, I'm close enough to the current price action that I would be able to sell calls on the following week. Okay, so if you do this next week, or if you do it tomorrow, make sure you're looking for a stock with a similar setup so that you're not left just holding on to the stock longer than you had intended to. When you do a buy right, you go in and you purchase the shares at the current price, and then you immediately turn around and sell a covered call. Now, you can do it all in one transaction like I did, or you can break these apart, but it's usually easier if you just do it all in one transaction. I'm going to show you how it puts it together on the screen. It makes it easy for you to see. So the 100 shares I purchased at $112 today, 57 cents, 112.57. And then I immediately turned around and I sold a call at $2.35, saying you could take my shares away if they get to 114 by the end of the trading day on April 11th. So purchase the shares at 112.57, willing to give them up at 114, and I got $2.35 for that. So all in all, let's look at, if these shares are called away, when you count the premium plus the price appreciation, how much I would make on the trade in just a few days. So the stock appreciation from 114 minus 112.57, that's $1.43 a share that I'll receive just for the appreciation of the stock. Then you add to that $2.35, because this is the premium that I received, and that's $3.78 a share. So you'll multiply that by 100, and that equals $378 that I'll make in just a few days. So to get the percentage return, we want to look and see how much cash it took to put this trade on. Because I bought 100 shares, it cost me $11,257. So to get the percentage, I take $378 divided by $11,257, and that equals 0.033. You multiply it by 100 to get the percentage, and now we're looking at a 3.35% return in just 2 days. That's what makes this so powerful. And so if my shares are called away at 114, then this trade would have returned 3.35% in just a matter of a few days. And that's the power of the buy right. Now let's look at what would happen if it's not called away. So let's say that NVIDIA retreats in the next couple of days, and by the end of day Friday, it's trading only at 110. So my shares will not be called away, but that still puts me in a good position because of the premium I received. Now you can see right here that my cost basis is 110. So I can turn around the following week and sell calls again, any price above 110. Now, ideally, I would like to sell it above the 112 because that's the amount I purchased it for, but this does give me flexibility. And this is a great stock to do this with because of where it is in its price life cycle. Let's take a quick look. Right now, I'm looking at the 3-month chart on Yahoo Finance, and you can see that it just surged past its 20-day moving average, and this is the middle of the Bollinger Band. We are over 50 on the RSI. That just happened today, and so if it stabilizes right here at about 114, then we have more than likely all this way to go. So if it pulls back and it doesn't take my shares, then that's okay because we're still at a really good spot to be able to make money on this trade in the future. If you're going to try to replicate this trade tomorrow, here's how it would look. You would go in and buy the stock. You'd buy potentially 100 shares unless you wanted to do more contracts. Automatically, it's going to allow you to sell a call. So in this situation, I go to April 11th because that's just a few days away. And then I would want to select a strike price. It's about 50 cents or $1 more than my purchase price. So in this case, that's 115. So when this pulls together, when it shows a net debit, it's showing a debit because I am getting a premium. It looks like I'll get about $2.50 for the trade, but ultimately I'm having to pay because I'm buying the shares. And so you put this in here, and I like to populate the midpoint to get a better indication. And look, you could make $356 on a combination of the premium plus the price you buy the shares at, coupled with the call away. You can make $356 in a matter of a few days. Your potential loss it's showing is $11,144, but that's only because if you were to have these shares and they were to go to zero, then you would lose the full amount. But with NVIDIA, that's very unlikely. So for those of you wanting to get into a trade and you're afraid that if you sell a put, that it may blow past your price and you won't get put the shares, this is a way that you can force a discount on a stock that you want to buy. And now this message is for all of my actual community members. I just want to tell you how honored I am to be with you each and every day in the markets. All of you are so respectful. You're so very smart. You're so helpful to each other, and you're so kind and polite. And that makes such a difference because, in my perspective, the whole reason I started this community was I could not find a community like what I felt like would be the perfect learning environment. In my mind, trading and learning trading is intense. You're dealing with money. You're dealing with complex subjects. It's important to be in an environment where you can, one, ask questions and not feel silly, and two, where you're supported and you don't have to worry about all the drama that I have seen as a part of other discords. We're very respectful of each other. We share our opinions, but we do it in such a way that it doesn't raise the temperature. And that's what's important because we are doing some serious things. We're learning how to trade, and you need a supportive environment if you are going to be able to properly think and properly learn. For those of you that are my YouTube viewers, if you want to be a part of all that excitement, book a little call. We're going to show you the whole community. We're going to show you exactly how it's set up so that you can decide if this is right for you. Remember, if you're with me, come rain, come shine, come a beautiful day like today, no trader is left behind. And for those of you that want even more detail on the buy right strategy, I'm going to leave that video for you right here.